David Archuleta details special connection with fellow ex-Mormons Heather Gay and Jessi Ngatikaura. For years, the world knew David Archuleta as the sweet, soft-spoken runner-up from American Idol, the young man with the angelic voice and deeply rooted faith. But today, David's story is about more than music. It's about identity. It's about courage. And it's about connection. Recently, David opened up about a special connection he shares with fellow former members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, including Heather Gay and Jessi Ngatikaura. Why is this connection so powerful? Because it's rooted in something deeply personal, leaving a faith that once defined their entire lives. Tonight, we're diving deep into what David revealed, and why this bond means so much. David Archuleta rose to national fame in 2008. At just 16 years old, he captivated audiences on American Idol with his emotional ballads and sincerity. But behind the spotlight, David was also navigating something deeply personal. He grew up in a devout Mormon household. His faith wasn't just part of his life, it shaped it. From his worldview, his friendships, his sense of right and wrong, his identity. For years, David spoke openly about his commitment to the church. Then everything changed. In 2021, David publicly came out as part of the LGBTQ+ community. The announcement was heartfelt and complicated. He expressed love for his faith, but he also acknowledged the tension between religious doctrine and his identity. Eventually, David revealed he had stepped away from the church. Leaving a faith you were raised in isn't just a spiritual shift. It's emotional, cultural, social, familial. And that's where this special connection comes in. Heather Gay is known for her candid honesty on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. On the show, she described herself as Mormon 2.0 before later fully stepping away from the church. Her journey was highly public, filled with vulnerability and backlash. Heather spoke about feeling judged, losing community, redefining herself. When David connected with Heather, it wasn't about reality TV or pop stardom. It was about shared experience. Two public figures, two faith transitions, two people navigating identity outside a system that once shaped everything. Jessi Ngatikaura, known from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, also brings a unique voice to this space. Her experience within Mormon culture and her evolving relationship with it resonates with many who feel caught between tradition and modern identity. David has described feeling understood in conversations with Jessi. And that word, understood, carries weight. Because when someone leaves a tight-knit religious community, they often feel misunderstood, isolated, mischaracterized. Finding others who get it creates a powerful bond. David described their connection as something deeper than casual friendship. Why? Because they share a religious upbringing in Utah culture, public scrutiny while questioning faith, the emotional complexity of redefining belief systems, the challenge of separating spirituality from institution. This isn't just celebrity friendship. It's shared transformation. And transformation builds intense empathy. For David especially, leaving the church was intertwined with his journey of self-acceptance. Navigating faith while coming out can feel like standing at a crossroads. Heather and Jessi may not share identical experiences, but they understand the tension between community expectations, personal truth, public image. That shared navigation creates solidarity. What makes this story compelling is that all three individuals experienced their faith transitions publicly. Most people go through spiritual shifts privately. David, headlines. Heather, reality TV confessionals. Jessi, national streaming audience. When the world watches your evolution, vulnerability becomes amplified. That's why finding safe spaces, even among other celebrities, matters. David has emphasized that leaving a religion doesn't mean abandoning spirituality. Instead, it can mean redefining it. Through friendships like these, he appears to have found something many former members search for: community outside the institution, support without judgment, connection without doctrine. And perhaps that's the real headline. When David Archuleta revealed his special connection with fellow former Mormons Heather Gay and Jessi Ngatikaura, fans focused on the emotional side. But there's another layer to this story. How does publicly stepping away from a deeply rooted faith, especially in Utah culture, affect brand identity, career trajectory, fan loyalty, media narrative? Tonight, we explore how this shared journey may be reshaping their public images and professional futures. For years, David's brand was built on wholesomeness, faith-centered values, inspirational messaging. After his breakout on American Idol, his identity as a devoted member of the LDS Church was part of his public story. But since stepping away from the church and embracing his LGBTQ+ identity, David has reintroduced himself to the world. This reinvention includes more personal songwriting, open discussions about identity, interviews centered on authenticity. His connection with Heather and Jessi reinforces that evolution. Instead of being isolated in his transition, he's part of a broader cultural conversation that widens his audience. It invites listeners who value vulnerability over perfection. On The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Heather Gay's storyline often revolved around her complicated relationship with Mormonism. She positioned herself as self-aware, critical yet respectful, torn between tradition and independence. Her openness about leaving the church turned her into more than a reality star. It made her a voice for those navigating religious deconstruction. Aligning publicly with someone like David Archuleta amplifies that role. Why? Because David represents a different demographic. Younger audience, music fans, LGBTQ+ community. Together, their shared narrative expands Heather's relevance beyond Bravo viewers. Jessi Ngatikaura gained attention through The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, a show centered around women balancing faith, marriage, and modern life. For Jessi, discussing faith transitions carries unique risk. Her audience includes viewers deeply connected to Mormon culture. Publicly aligning with former members can be seen as bold, controversial, empowering. By forming friendships with David and Heather, Jessi signals she's open to dialogue, not just adherence, that can attract new viewers who are curious about evolving identity narratives. When public figures share overlapping personal journeys, media framing shifts. Instead of isolated stories, we get a movement, and movements generate podcast invitations, book deals, documentary interest, panel discussions. Imagine the possibilities. A joint interview about faith transitions, a documentary exploring modern Mormon identity, a mental health-focused project. Their connection could become more than friendship. It could become collaboration, but let's talk about risk. Leaving a high-demand religion publicly can alienate longtime supporters, spark online backlash, impact regional fan bases. Utah has a strong LDS population. For David, Heather, and Jessi, speaking openly means navigating criticism, misinterpretation, cultural sensitivity. However, in today's media landscape, authenticity often outweighs controversy. Younger audiences especially value transparency. David's journey intersects with LGBTQ+ advocacy. His faith transition isn't just